Attention, prisoner 903-8970, you're up for parole.
American Arts Radio presents live from Chisel Multimedia Studios, Comics on Parole in Hollywood South. Here's your host, Dan Glazer.
Welcome to Comics on Parole. My name is Dan Glazer, and we have the honor. This is an honor. She just happens to be passing through Atlanta. We've been Facebook friends for years. She's known all over the country. She's performed on the Howard Stern. Well, I guess you did kind of perform on the Howard Stern show, didn't you? And welcome to the Parole Desk, Christy Monroe.
Hello.
Known as stripper comedian.
Nice to meet you.
But she's more of a comedian now than she is stripper. So, you know, everyone has to make a living on the side. You can drive Uber, you can work at Waffle House, you can deliver pizzas, but her side job makes a little more money, and she does it tastefully. So, So it's really cool having you on. We've been Facebook friends for years.
Yeah.
A number of years, haven't we? And I'm very supportive. Mm-hmm. I'm always rah-rahing Miss Monroe here.
And I appreciate all the support.
Very good, very good. So Christy's from New York, and she's passing through doing comedy, right?
Correct, yes.
And so how long now have you done comedy?
I started November 16th, 2016.
Oh, so you've been doing comedy, we're in 2019, so almost 3 years, 4 years, almost 4 years.
3 years.
Was it, well, in January it would be almost 4 years, or December. You said December?
November 16th, 2016.
Oh, okay, so it'd be 3 years. Okay. Now, what made you start doing comedy?
I started stripping in April of 2014, and I had a lot of really crazy experiences. So I just decided that the world needed to hear about that.
And what did you do before you became a stripper comedian, or did stripping?
I owned a really successful mixed martial arts school, and before that I went to the 9th best architecture school in the country.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I assume the reason you started stripping, it's so expensive living in New York.
No. I was married to a Marine for 4 years, which is when I owned the martial arts school. And when we got divorced, I moved to South Florida to be near family. And then in my entire life, I've never tasted a sip of alcohol, tried any drugs, or smoked.
I read that, yeah.
And so, for some dumb reason, I decided at 24 years old that I was going to be a shot girl. And so I got hired at this club, and the first night I showed up, and I thought I looked really good, and I thought, like, oh, this will be so easy. Right. So I was walking around, and nobody bought any shots from me. So the guy that, ran the club, he refused to pay me. He's like, just come back tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So I came back the next day, and there was this other girl there, and she wasn't thinner than me, and she wasn't prettier than me, but she clearly knew something I didn't know, and she had this corset, and her boobs were pushed up to her face, and she was wearing these fishnets and these, long black boots,
right.
And she was selling shots left and right, and I was like, what does she know that I don't know? So I was talking to her, and she's like, well, I'm a stripper, and I was like, you whore. Yeah. And then, we started talking, and I asked her the same 5 questions that people ask me now, which are, what happens in a private room? Do you have to fuck the managers? Are you safe? Oh.
That'll get bleeped out.
Bleep. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I forgot. It's not her fault. I should have said
sorry.
PG. Okay, go ahead. This is leading to a purpose going into your stand-up comedy, by the way.
Yes. Sorry.
That's okay. Don't bleep it.
Okay. Are you safe? And what do you do? Well, I won't say that part.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so she answered all my questions, and I asked her if she would teach me how to be a stripper, and she's like, no. And I thought that was really mean.
Be too much competition.
Yeah. So she left. So then I had this alcoholic best friend named Mick, and I was like, Mick, I'm going to become a stripper, and I need you to help me. And he was like, okay.
So he did it.
So I made him go with me to every strip club in South Florida and, like a little psycho. I was sitting there at the strip club with a pen and paper and like writing
Taking
down
notes?
what the girls were doing.
That's because you're left brain.
Yeah.
You're an architect, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead.
So I was like taking notes on the girls and their shoes and what they were wearing, and listening to everything that they were doing, and so I got this like plastic crappy stripper pole thing, and I set it up in my living room, and I made my friend Mick watch me like practice becoming a stripper. So my plan was that I was only ever going to do it one time, and this was going to be my little secret, and I was never going to tell anyone. So I did a bunch of research. I got hired at the safest club in South Florida, and then my first day ever, which is a long but pretty funny story, it went really well. In the end, that day, I made $1,400. And I was like...
Where do I sign up?
I was like, I'll be back tomorrow. So I've been stripping now for 6 years.
And you, just briefly, you were going to school for architecture, did you say?
Yeah, I went, I started college when I was 16 at Arizona State University, and I was majoring in housing and urban development. And then I was talking to the dean of the architecture school, and he was like, you should really aspire higher. And so I had applied to some really great programs around the country, and I got accepted into Pratt Institute when I was 17. So I moved to New York City, and I went to Pratt. And then in my third year, I got expelled from architecture school. It's a long story short. I was pushing my wooden project through a bandsaw, and I fell asleep, and my finger went through the bandsaw, and it was bleeding everywhere. And about a week later, I got diagnosed with extremely severe narcolepsy. But
Oh, I remember I read that, yeah.
just so you know, Jimmy Kimmel and Ron Jeremy have narcolepsy, so...
No, I read you don't fall asleep while you're driving, or...
Sometimes.
Do you put it on cruise control?
I don't know if that's how cruise control works.
No, it doesn't, but we're going to robotic cars pretty soon, self-driving cars, so we're all set.
Yeah.
So, then you moved into, briefly, so you got into stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. How?
So I was stripping in South Florida, and then I sued one of the club that I worked at, so I moved to Key West. And I lived in Key West for a year, and I was dancing, and the owner of the club that I was dancing at was selling illegal Cuban immigrants into sex slavery, and so I started a $6.6 million lawsuit against him, and then when that started, my lawyer was like, you can't live in Florida anymore. Well, and I had seen some...
It became dangerous enough.
Yeah. I seen some really, really crazy stuff at that point, so I decided, like, okay, I'll move to New York City and, start doing comedy and talk about it, see how it goes. Wow. Yeah, and so about a year after that, we settled for $2.6 million in that lawsuit. I didn't know.
You didn't get paid?
It was a class action lawsuit of 3 tiers, so I got around $25,000.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah. The point of the lawsuit, though, was that he got in a lot of trouble for what he was doing to those girls.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. So you moved to New York, and that started your comedy career.
Yes.
And you're in a lot of shows.
Yep.
Before we go to the show, I want you were on a YouTube, was it YouTube TV? It was a TV show with my cousin Lindsay Glazer. Can you post that? So you were in there's my cousin Lindsay Glazer, who's called into the show. And that was on what show? Gonzo?
Yeah, Gonzo's radio show.
And what was the theme? Mostly comedy?
Yeah, we talked about comedy and current events and things like that.
And then I saw you went to dinner with my cousin.
Yeah, I asked her if she wanted to go have some sushi.
Yeah, I used to babysit her.
Yeah, you said that.
She's tough. She's working a lot. She's doing colleges, and I'll tell you, if you ever need a leg broken, she'll do it for you.
Oh, boy.
She's tough. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay,
let's go. There's Lindsay. Okay, you can take that down. So, what I want to do, so you really are doing the comedy hot and heavy now.
Yep.
You really are. And you're in a lot of shows. Let's show some of the posters. Here's, do the Christy all-in comedy poster.
That's me.
And then so people asking you to be, are they calling you to be in their shows?
All the time, yeah.
You're going to be giving up the stripping pretty soon.
Well, here's hoping.
And then do the Christy Valentine poster. And these are all in New York, correct?
I do shows all over the country. Those two happen to be produced by the same person. It was my very good friend, Tino. He's super funny.
Okay. And Christy Cheeseface comedy poster?
What show was that? Oh, that was at Governor's on Long Island. Yeah, I was the headliner.
Okay. And then, now, pole dancing has gone mainstream now.
Yeah,
Let's show the pole dancing
that's me.
video.
That was Ron Barba. He's a producer, and he made this really, really great pilot episode for a TV show. And he asked me to headline. He had a bunch of investors coming to hopefully invest in his TV show, which was really funny. Honestly, like, really well made. Somebody should fund that. It was a really
What was
good
the name
idea.
of it?
I don't remember the name of it, but the premise of the show was this man inherits this really dysfunctional strip club from his deceased uncle, and he doesn't really know what he's walking into.
Wow.
So he goes in, and all the girls, every one of the strippers, their names are Mercedes, and it's like all these funny characters. It was a really good idea for a show.
And what's happened with it?
I'm not sure.
You were in it?
No. So I met Ron after that, and Ron was like, I wish that we knew you before we filmed this pilot episode. We obviously would have had you in the show. But he had said since then that if they get the funding for the show, that they would definitely ask me to do it.
So you haven't heard anything about it since?
No, but so on that picture was from when I was headlining his event to get investors to invest in that show.
Did you ever see a clip of it or anything?
Yeah, we watched the whole pilot episode. It was 23 minutes or something.
It's funny?
It was so great. It was honestly like really, really high production quality. The acting was great. Everything about it, I couldn't imagine. I could see myself going home every night and binge watching it.
And it was
really good.
Was it like PG or?
I mean, it was like a funny version of like things that could happen in a dysfunctional strip club.
And clean enough to be on major television.
Yeah, like it could be easily on Netflix or Hulu or something.
You think he'd call into Comics on Parole sometime? We could show
Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell him.
Give me the contact. Yeah, I'll give you my contact because I'd like to talk to him. We could show a clip on Comics on Parole.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
Okay, and well, I guess we might as well go. You know, I want to ask you about, because we're going to get to your set.
Okay.
I want to ask you about this. You were doing pole dancing, which is very mainstream. You could give pole dancing lessons. Women are doing it for their husbands.
Yep.
Women are doing it for their boyfriends.
Yep.
You know, the husbands and their boyfriends.
Yep.
And you can actually make a lot of money teaching people how to do. But you were in New York. Mm-hmm. And let's go to the video, the stripper comedian. No. The pole dancing, video stripper pole dancing in Times Square. Do you see it? How'd this come about?
So I wanted to get on World Star, which is like a big network of, I don't know, like all kinds of crazy stuff. At this point in the entertainment industry, the most important thing is how high your numbers are. And I was sitting at around 10,000 followers, and I really want to get to 100,000 followers, which I realistically can. So
100,000 followers on what?
Oh, Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram's the only thing that matters.
I don't know much about Instagram.
Oh.
I should, and I tried to figure it out, and
yeah.
I just never bothered with it. But that's what you need is Instagram. Everyone's doing Instagram. Mm-hmm. Ryan Reynolds, President Trump, everyone's doing Instagram.
Yeah. So
and how many followers now?
So I got up to 15,000, and then 2 days ago my account got deleted.
Why? I read that. Why?
Yeah, I was arguing with prostitutes. This account called Middle Aged Stripper put up a meme that said the face you make after you get paid for the first time that you have sex, when you get paid to have sex with someone.
Right.
So I wrote under it, can't relate.
What was wrong with that?
And so the prostitutes flipped out, and they were like, you're a sex worker and you can't be shaming other sex workers. And I said, I'm not a sex worker. I don't have sex for work. I am an entertainer.
Right.
And I feel very strongly about that, and I feel very strongly that prostitution should not be legalized. And so all of these girls jumped on it and then started reporting my account. And in Instagram, if enough people report your account in a short enough amount of time, they don't look into the situation. They just suspend your account. But I've been working really diligently ever since this happened, and I'm positive I'm going to get my account
Well,
back.
it's just a probationary period. They'll put you back on.
Yeah.
Right. Christy, I want to note again, does not smoke, does not drink, does not do drugs.
Correct?
Nothing.
Correct.
This is strictly business.
Yep.
And it's leading to her doing some great thing in the comedy work. We will show the pole. Did you mind if we showed the pole dancing?
Go
Because
for
it was
it,
unique,
yeah.
because it was in the middle of New York. But tell us why
Yeah.
you were doing that in New York.
Okay, so I wanted to hit World Star to raise my numbers, and the video did exactly what I wanted it to do. There's an algorithm in Instagram that you have to beat to be able to get on, like, to make a video go viral. So I was able to do it, and you just need basically like eye-catching enough content. So I felt like I'm on this TV show a lot called Spick and Spanish. And
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, Spick and Spanish, yeah.
And the host, his name's Al. He's a very good friend of mine. And then the camera operator is this guy named Curtis. He's also a good friend of mine. I do a lot of photo shoots with him. So right at that time, a lot of Instagram famous people started messaging me that they wanted to work with me, but I really wanted to get my numbers up before I did that, because the higher your numbers are, the more power you have in like working with those people.
Right.
So anyway, I concocted this plan, and I got my friend Al and my friend Curtis and everybody to cooperate, which, I needed different camera angles. I needed camera, good photographs and everything. So it's just kind of a group coordinated effort.
Well, let's watch a bit of it.
Hasta los mexicanitos se pararon, mira, viejita cuando and that's a picture. No, that's a picture.
And you said about a couple hundred people showed up?
They just stopped what they were doing and were watching, people of all ages, kids.
Mayor de Blasio?
What?
Mayor de Blasio?
He was not there, unfortunately.
I don't think he's going to be there much longer either.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a big fan. I'm a big fan of comedian Sherrod Smalls.
Yep.
Who's on Fox News. You know him. You
Yep.
bump into him. Tell Sherrod I said hi.
I will.
The guy's fine. I'm just a big fan of his. And he's also, Sherrod Small, his cousin is Chris Rock. Mm-hmm. And you recently bumped into Chris Rock and Kevin Hart?
Yep.
Where were you at?
I was on the Comedy Cellar podcast, live from America.
Comedy Cellar podcast?
Uh-huh.
And you've also been on Howard Stern show.
Yes.
Explain to us about that.
That was about a year and a half ago.
Uh-huh.
And we filmed segments with Lenny Dykstra.
Mm-hmm. He's part of the...
Lenny Dykstra is, he won the World Series on the Mets in 1986.
Okay. But was Howard Stern when interviewing, or was someone else from the show interviewing?
No, Ronnie the limo driver and Lonnie Hanover were there.
Right. So Howard saw it though, right?
Yeah.
So probably have you on again.
Yeah,
Maybe.
hopefully, yeah.
That'll be good. So you're really making your way. You're getting
trying.
up there. And you're on a show called Spick and Span?
Spick and Spanish.
And is that pretty popular?
Yeah, it's a popular show in New York. It's a TV show.
Oh, it's Spick and Spanish. I thought it was just like a really clean show.
No.
Spick and Span.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to see a bit of Christy's stand-up comedy. I didn't check it out to see if we have to bleep anything, so I don't think it's too bad. So let's go ahead and show...
My name is Monroe, and yes, that's my stripper name. So, I regularly win bikini contests and stand here. There's no hole up here, so it's a really different kind of show that I'm used to giving. I'm really nervous being on stage with this many clothes on. So, clap if you're single.
really looking for a rich man who doesn't want a prenup, but they're hard to come by, so I'm trying to trap one with a pregnancy. I really don't like winter. I'm more of a summer girl, because it's easier to catch a sugar daddy. So, have you ever been in a strip club and been getting a lap dance and the stripper refused to face you? That's a signal that you smell bad. Take a fucking shower. There's always mirrors in strip clubs, and yeah. Recently I was giving a lap dance, and I was kind of zoning out, wondering why all those mirrors were there. And then I realized that it was so I could stare myself in the eyes and remind myself I'm a human being and I have value. I got paid $500 for someone to suck the deodorant off my armpits. It felt like a carpet getting deep cleaned. So are you really a doctor? Do you really want to go on a date after this? Maybe. Okay. So, when I started dancing, I started in Fort Lauderdale, the classiest of classy cities. And on my second day ever, I was in the locker room, and this girl was in the locker room, and she was screaming and holding her ass cheeks open. I said, oh my God, what's wrong with her? So the managers come running in. They pull out their cell phone lights, and they're looking at her
I don't
asshole.
want to bleep anything out. Oh, that's good. That was good. We were getting something edgy, right?
It was really edgy.
Okay,
I
good.
don't
We
say that
stopped
joke
it.
anymore, actually.
And that was you were fairly new. That was like your 10th time doing it?
Yeah, that was within the first 2 months of starting comedy.
And what clubs are you performing at the most in New York?
Broadway Comedy Club, Greenwich Village Comedy Club, Comic Strip Live, the Grizzly Pear, Brooklyn House of Comedy. There's so many clubs.
What's the guy I get no respect? Who is that? Rodney, I'm losing my mind.
Oh, I've
Rodney-
actually never been inside.
You need to talk to
Dangerfield.
Lindsay because she goes there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've never been inside that club. Not for any specific reason.
You got to go there. They she's performed there several times.
Oh.
That's good. Okay, so right now you're gone all year round.
Yeah.
And performing at club after club after club after club.
Yep.
And these clubs are offering for you to come back.
Yep.
And you're performing on the East Coast, on the West Coast, in Los Angeles.
Yep.
Do you see a big difference between performing in Los Angeles versus the East Coast?
No, I see a big difference in trying to perform in the middle of the country.
Really?
Yeah. In the middle of the country, it's sort of like people want safe laughs.
Uh-huh.
So they'll laugh at like jokes about cows. Progressive comedy happens in big cities, New York, LA. What I'm doing is not like anything anyone's ever done in comedy. And it's taking off the most in those kind of places. But I'm finding that the more momentum that I'm getting, the more the weirdos from places like Alabama, they want to hear what I have to say.
Right.
It's just the venues, they're not sure about booking me because they're not they don't know what the reaction's going to be. But it's never been a bad reaction.
You should put Christy Monroe, stripper, architect, comedian.
Okay.
Because you were going to be an architect. That's really impressive.
I'll tell jokes about cantilevers and catenary structures.
That's right. That's what we should do. So we have a friend of yours here that you performed in an improv show last night.
Yeah.
And let's bring him to the... His name is Craig Evans, whatever. But you're coming on as what character? It's Evan Craig. What's the name of your character?
Ronald Clump.
Ronald Clump. Let's bring this to stage. Ronald Clump. You sit right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to make Americans smile again, one American at a time. One American at a time. First thing I want to do...
Let's move in.
Move in, okay. Like, act like we all love each other, huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
So first thing I want to do is I want to repeal and replace Obamacare, and I want to do that with Cougar Care. make Americans smile again, one American at a time. So pretty much the point of politics right now is to divide and conquer the American public. My goal is to unite the people and have people work together. That's why I don't say make America smile again. I want to make Americans. Americans is me, Christy, Dan, the people that you perform for, people that, make your food, the people that make your coffee at Starbucks, the people that build the roads. I want to make everybody be unified.
And you're selling these hats, right?
I am, yes, sir.
Because this hat used to be red.
It did.
And it said "Make America Smile Again," and he was getting beat up. You were getting hit.
Well,
you were getting
yes.
No, you weren't. You were getting people mad. People get mad, and you would say, "Read the hat."
Yeah, I know. Well, one time I got hit in the mouth, right?
You did?
And
I was kidding. I didn't know you got hit in the mouth.
And I was just like this. Sir, read the hat. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry about that blood on your lip."
Are you serious?
Damn, I'm a comedian. Come on, what have I ever? I'm a comedian and a professional poker player. What do you know?
You're a professional poker player?
Yeah, of course. I was in the World Series of Poker 2 months ago.
You play strip poker?
I sometimes do. Yes.
Do you know Clayton Fletcher?
Clayton Fletcher. I don't.
He plays in the World Series of Poker, and he's one of my comedy mentors.
Really?
Yeah, he's really good. He was I think he finished 6th or something.
In one of the circuits or the main event?
The main event.
Because the main event, that means he won 3 or 4 million.
Yeah, he's
okay,
he knows
he's
what
legit.
he's doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
and he's a comedian too.
Yeah. He actually, coincidentally, that show that you showed the clip from is his show, the Clayton Fletcher show. It's in New York City.
Impressive. And where can they? In fact, you're engaged now. My son introduced you to your fiance.
He did, yes, sir.
Oh, very good. And you get married when?
April 25th, 2020.
And where can they find your hats?
They can find my hats right now at my Instagram. I have 2 Instagrams. I have Ronald Clump. All you have to do is just go to Make Americans Smile Again, and you'll see Ronald Clump. You'll see a picture of me with an American flag, and it has a link called Make Americans Smile Again. You can also find him on E. Craig, because E. Craig is going to be my vice president when I run. So, we got E. Craig, the vice president. We got Ronald Clump running for president.
What are you going to do, a video with... You're going to do some kind of comedy video? You as Evan Craig and you as...
As Ronald Clump, yeah, pretty much what I have to do is, when they be like, well, where's your vice president? I'd be like, all right, let me go turn the camera off and go ahead, change real quick, put on a sports coat and a blazer, and take out my American tie, and then take the hat off, and then boom, now I'm E. Craig,
Oh, very good.
So I look like 2 different people with the hat, without the hat.
And you have an open mic at the Vinings Inn.
I do.
Every Monday night.
It's actually just the first and second Monday.
It's first and second Monday.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
We switched it because Labor Day was the first Monday.
Uh-huh.
So I had kind of a free show, and when Christy was in town, I was like, well, let me go ahead and use my free show. I just kind of unlocked it like a game breaker, on NBA Street or NFL Street.
And you had a improv last night.
Yeah.
And you made $80. You got tipped $80.
$89.
That's amazing. I've never heard of that before. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So anyway, Christy, I love the news. Mm-hmm. I get all my news from a website called nakednews.com. You ever heard of it?
No.
It's where these beautiful girls read the news to you while they're naked. It's $24.95 a month.
Okay.
My wife said, for $24.95 a month, I'll read the news to you naked. I said, I'll pay you $50 not to.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, you're supposed to laugh. It gets a big laugh. That didn't happen. Anyway, so Matt's laughing. That's what's good. Okay, so we're going to bring up, how many more minutes I got, Matt?
You have about 2.
Okay. I also want to bring to the... What's your last name, Matt?
Tamburrino.
I want to bring to the stage comedian Matt Tamburrino, who... no, stay here. You can just bend down beside us. Who you're staying with, Matt, right?
No, I don't know him.
Oh, you don't? No, come back here.
You ain't got to do that because of the camera. Okay. Come on now.
Kneel right there. So, but he opened for you at a show at the Speedway. Tell us about it, Matt.
All right, so it was a Imagine Music Festival. It's a big music festival here in Atlanta. About 50,000 people attend it every year. Huge. So it's electronic music. It's a lot of, the rave culture. It's a lot of crazy kids, a lot of, crazy costumes and colors and lights and electronic music. So we both got booked on there to do that. She was the headlining comedian, obviously. She did the great big show at the end.
Okay.
So how many comedians were there?
There were 3 of us total.
And you were the headliner?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. So we had one guy and then me and then her, which I think it went perfectly, especially with the way my comedy is. A little bit edgier, a little bit rougher, a little dirtier. So it was great leading into her. I think it was a perfect opening act to get everybody kind of ready for her, and she crushed it.
And how many people were there?
A lot, thousands.
There were like 50,000 people there.
We did 3 different shows. So we had a show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So every day was different people.
And did you come here to do that show?
Yeah. And then when I was going to be in town, I had just messaged a couple of other comedians. That's just how I found Evan. And I was looking for more shows.
Well, that's how I saw to get you on this show.
Yeah. So
because years ago you said, I want to be on your show. Remember that? So that's impressive. Was that the biggest crowd you've done so far?
Yeah, I would say probably yes.
You know what? I want to see you performing on. I want to see where you posted your performing at Rodney Dangerfield's when you imagine.
Okay.
Lindsay will tell you how to get on there.
All right.
And you're performing all over town. Are you traveling?
Yes, sir. No, I perform. I don't have any out of town dates right now. But I do shows all around Atlanta. I've done Laughing Skull.
Oh, Laughing
Relapse Theater.
Tell her how great Laughing Skull is.
Oh, it's amazing. I already told her. She just doesn't remember that. But I told her the exact same things. Yeah, I do Punchline. I host the show in Marietta at the Strand Theater a lot. But I'm there. I'm a resident there. So I mean, I've done every single week. I'm there. That's definitely a good place to find me.
I bet Marcy would let her close the show, close an open mic.
Do you think so? With her? Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
You know the Punchline, right?
She's I describe her as the Mitzi Shore of the East Coast. You know,
she knows everyone. Marcy knows everyone. And she's a really nice person.
Queen of comedy.
My agent is best friends with Mitzi Shore, so.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was.
So, anyway, so how long are you going to be here?
Just till tomorrow.
Oh, so she couldn't stay Sunday to go to the open mic.
We'll get her back in town.
If I get booked, I'll definitely come back.
Oh, yeah, because Lindsay's closed the show at Punchline. I bet you they'll probably let you do. Work on that.
I'm doing that. Trust me, I need the gigs. I need her to come back so I can open for her again.
Oh, very good, very good. You look like you make a good comedy team.
Yeah.
So, anyway, are we out of time, Matt? Listen, thank you for tuning in to Comics on Parole. Tune in another month when we don't know who will be on, but they will be here. Thank you so much, Christy. It's really been an honor to meet you, and it's really nice meeting you finally after all these years. Thank you, Evan.
Oh, hey,
thank you very much, and thank you, Matt.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for tuning in to Comics on Parole. Thank you.